Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Ascent, the live stream powered by Meridian Technology Center. My name is Julie Griffin, and I'm one of the project managers here in our Workforce and Economic Development Department, or division, however you want to look at that. And I am so excited to have you guys here today to be live with you again. I love going live and especially talking about Meridian because I love working here. So if you are watching and social media tells me that we have some eyeballs watching, please drop a comment so we know that you're here. We can say hi to you and have a conversation. If you don't say anything, we don't know you're here. So please drop a comment if you are. And I want to introduce our guest for today. She has had a long career here at Meridian, and she's one of those people that I think if you've been in career tech for a while, you've probably heard of her. I know I did before I came to Meridian, but she's done great things with our adult training department and especially in the field of healthcare. And so today she's going to share with us about all the different ways that you can have a pathway to a healthcare career and beyond, or otherwise. The path may go somewhere else. We'll see. So, hi, Rena,
Hey,
and
good
welcome
morning.
to the Ascent.
Thank you. Or I guess it's noon now. Not
I
good
guess
morning.
it is noon. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon seems so formal. Like good afternoon, good evening. It seems so formal. So
like time for tea or something. I don't know.
I know, right? Just make sure your pinky's out. You'll be fine. So thank you for being here. I'm excited to learn more about what you guys do on that side of our division and to share, obviously, with all of our audience here that's watching us today. So just to get started, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about you and your career here at Meridian?
Wow. So that could take the entire time. So we'll have to make a short version, but I'm in my 33rd year at Meridian. So I haven't always been in this role, but have had various roles and throughout that tenure. But this happens to be one of the ones I enjoy the most because we have an opportunity to work with people as they begin a career. Maybe they're in the middle of their career or they want a career change or whatever the case may be. So we always have classes that are starting. We always have classes that are in the middle. We always have classes that are ending. It's just a continual rotation of those things. And so it's really enjoyable to work with individuals as they're in each of those, I don't know, transitions maybe for them in different seasons in their life. And we're able to then just partner with them and elbow with them as we go through that journey and helping them determine what's next steps perhaps that they need and how we can help them along that. So I've enjoyed that part of being at Meridian. And I think Career Tech is one of those it's a vessel that is so available to individuals that they may or may not know about that can help them do what they want to do or what they envision and become what they want to be and have that career perhaps that they've always dreamed of. And that's what I love about career tech in general, and then Meridian, working with individuals to help make that happen. So thanks for that question.
Good. I love that. And that's one of the things that I love about Meridian specifically, but career tech in general, is that we do have the opportunity to help so many different types of people on very different parts of their career path journey. So with that, I'd say, what do you say is the most, is there a most common type of person that you help?
Ooh, good question. I don't know if there's a common type other than the majority of the individuals that initially come to us think that they would like to have a career in that health profession, but they just don't know what it might be or how they would even start on that journey. Maybe they've had a family member that has had a health issue and they've watched from that viewpoint of individuals helping the family member, or maybe they've been assisted. And so it is that career path that seems like it would be fascinating to them. They just don't know where step one is. And a lot of individuals think that it has to begin in a college setting or a college level setting. or that they have to have a bachelor's degree in something before they can even start down a health path. And so just being able to have that conversation and let them know that, first steps are exactly that. And they don't necessarily have to be in the higher education realm. You might end up there depending on what pathway you want to take and where your ultimate goal is. But to get started, it can be as simple as a first aid class, a CPR class, to see if that interests you. And if it does, then in what way? Do you want to be in direct patient care? Do you want to be working with individuals on a daily basis? Or do you want to be in the background doing something that assists them? And so really those conversations have to take place so that we know how to direct, how to help and get them on those pathways. And sometimes individuals want to be in direct patient care. They think they do, but they don't like the sight of blood, or they don't like to be around sick people. So, we have to perhaps help that conversation along the pathways of other ways we can help them, and they can be involved, but not be bedside or on an ambulance or, that kind of thing. So.
And I'd say what a gift that is to be able to find that out early on when you're just getting started versus being thrown into the field and then realize, oh, I don't like this very much.
Exactly.
No is an answer, and it's helpful to get people to that answer sometimes.
Yes, most definitely.
So, well, tell us a little bit more about the range of the range of the healthcare industry and the wide range of career paths that you can get started on here at Meridian.
Meridian can be your launch to any career path for healthcare. It truly can be, because like I said, if you just need a CPR class, and any health training that you're going to go through, you're going to have CPR training. So that's a first step regardless. But for those individuals that really don't know, but they think they want to be in nursing, let's say. So if you come to Meridian, there are prerequisites to any nursing program. We have those prerequisite courses: medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, medical math. Certified nurse aid is a prerequisite to most nursing programs. And so those first steps can all be done here and then transferred to wherever you might need to go. But you don't have to go very far, because if you want to go into nursing, we have a practical nursing program. And so take those prerequisites, go right into a practical nursing program here. Once you have that, you've completed that, and you're a licensed practical nurse. And a lot of times an employer will then pay for you to increase that knowledge base or that certification level or licensure level. So let's say your end goal is to be a nurse practitioner. Start at Meridian, be a certified nurse aide, go to work as a certified nurse aide, and then go right into a practical nursing program, complete that, go into an RN program, a registered nurse program, which is a 2-year degreed program in higher education. And then if you wanted to go further, you could go and get your BSN, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Then you can go and be a nurse practitioner. You can take those steps, and who knows, you might become a nurse practitioner or a nurse and decide, I really like teaching. I would like the aspect of working with individuals. Well, then you can come right back into the fold and be an instructor and help those individuals along those pathways. And so it's a wide variety of avenues once you get started. And a lot of times individuals taking those first steps into maybe nurse aide or EMT, emergency medical technician, or something like that, then they are exposed to a lot of different individuals in the health field just by virtue of that position or that training, that initial training. And they see something that they think, oh, I'd really like to do that. That speaks to me. And so really just taking those first classes and being in a clinical setting and seeing other individuals in the healthcare profession, you might actually identify then where you think you really want to go. And so it's really not just receiving that initial certification, but just the exposure into that arena that allows you to see all the different possibilities that there might be. So.
Very good. You mentioned certification and I think maybe even licensure. So can you talk a little bit more about that process of getting that certification and licensure and how that fits into industry and why that's important?
And Like anything, it depends on the state that you're in and what that state might require for those positions. A lot of the training that we do here, we have paired it with national certifications and licensures, state certifications, so that if you have the training, you have the opportunity to go forward and get maybe that state certification or that national certification if you choose. Let's talk about phlebotomy. Phlebotomy is one of those careers where you could work in a lab because you're drawing blood. Phlebotomy is the practice of drawing blood, collecting blood collection so that it can be utilized to run tests, cultures, those types of things, and that help in that diagnostic process to find out what might be a challenge that you're having that healthcare professionals can then work with you on. So if you want to be a phlebotomist, no prerequisites. Our program is 45 hours long. Come and take the program, learn how to do those sticks, how to do those draws, what the little tubes mean, what the colors are, why it's important to use the correct tubes when you're drawing blood, to collect that blood so that the tests that are run can be successful, those types of things. But you want to be a phlebotomist. In Oklahoma, you don't have to be certified to work as a phlebotomist. But you can be. So we have the program, we have the training. We also give you an avenue to take a national certification if you want to be a certified phlebotomy technician. In Oklahoma, if you have that certification, you're going to make more per hour than an individual who does not have that. And so that's why it's important for you to know that you have that option. And if you want to take that national certification, then it's going to give you a little step up as far as income is concerned. Maybe you're working in a lab, but you decide you want to go to work for an insurance company. A lot of insurance companies, based on the policies that they might offer, you have to go through some health testing. And you may be one of those individuals that's employed by an insurance company that's going to go out and do private draws, blood collection on individuals, maybe in their homes or at a specific setting or that kind of thing. So there's an avenue that a lot of people don't know about. But you're working in the lab and you decide, I like this, but I want to do more. I want to work not just in this lab, but I want to take it a step further. So phlebotomy is one of those stepping stones as well. And if you want to go into something else, at least you have that certification. You have a lot of knowledge there, and that can go forward and help you as you take that next step. So there's always an avenue. There's always a next step from wherever you are. And it could be something that you think is a progressive path that makes sense, or you could start on that progressive path and then decide, no, I want to be over here. And it's okay because there's a bridge to get you there. There's always a bridge. And I think that's what individuals don't realize is they think that it is a huge process and it's going to take too much time or too much money, or I'm not smart enough, or there's no way I can be that. And what they have to realize is that they're just stepping stones. They're just stepping stones. And if you can get to one, then you can get to the second one, you can get to the third one, and you can go on that journey wherever you want it to take you. So I think that's the most important message that we can give as we're working with those individuals, is just to let them know, don't give up. Just take that first step, embrace that, then let's go to the second step. And that's what I love about Career Tech. We can help them get to those.
Very good. So just based off of what you just talked about phlebotomy, I came up with 3 more questions. So I love it when this happens. So you mentioned the phlebotomy training is 45 hours, correct?
Yes.
So how are those hours structured and what is included in those 45 hours?
Good question. So for us in short term, 45 hours means literally 45 hours. You're with us 45 hours. The class meets for 3 hours a night. When it meets, it usually meets 2 nights a week. And so during that 45 hours, you are going to learn the basics of that blood collection, what that means, what the aspects of it are, how to do it successfully, how to make sure that you understand if you get an order for a specific test, that you understand what you need to pull together to collect that blood, to put it in those vessels so that those tests can be run, and how you then transport that to the lab or wherever it might be in order for them to run those tests. So that's what you're learning in that 45 hours. You're going to do sticks on what we call rubber arms, the mannequin arms. You're going to do that. You're going to stick each other. in the classroom, and then you're going to bring in individuals, family, friends, those that you can coerce perhaps to come in and be your patient, and you're going to learn to stick on them as well. And so you'll have those live draws before you ever then go into an employment situation, and you'll have to have successful draws in order for you to be eligible to take that national certification exam. So we help you get all of that so that if you want to take that national certification exam, you can be to be a certified phlebotomy technician. And then you have that in your backpack as you go and you apply for positions.
Very good. So I know just from my experience working in career tech, some of the health programs also have like clinical hours included
Yes.
in their class. So it sounded like phlebotomy wasn't one of those that goes on site to clinicals, but I know some of the other ones do. So how do those clinical hours, clinical sites work? And maybe even include in that, what are some of your partners that we work with to get those clinical hours?
Clinical hours are an important component of any training that we do in the healthcare field. What we've done with phlebotomy is we bring that clinical to you. So we bring those individuals into the classroom and let you draw on them in a comfortable setting so that you become more comfortable with your skill and your proficiency before you go into the healthcare setting. But when we talk about other programs that we have, let's talk about emergency medical technician. They have clinical hours that they have to have, 48 hours. So 4 12-hour shifts in an ambulance and in an emergency room. And we have clinical agreements that we establish with our educational partners. So a clinical agreement is a legal document that we sign with either a hospital or an ambulance agency or that type of thing in order for us to send students to them and for them to precept those students for a period of time. So they're learning, they're getting that experience hands-on in that setting that they're one day going to be working in. And so that clinical agreement is that legal document. We have to have it in order for us to send our students. But then the students will go individually. In the case of the emergency medical technician, will go individually to that clinical site for that 12-hour shift. They may be on the back of an ambulance, with them, riding with them. They might be in an emergency room assisting there, but it gives them that firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience of what that environment is so that they can help determine it. Do I still want to do this? You mentioned earlier about it was a good thing to know if like the sight of blood or anything like that was something you couldn't handle. And we have had students who've been in our EMT training. They get to clinicals and they realize, I like working in a controlled setting in the emergency room where the patients come to us and we have everything that we need within a short space. I like working that. I don't like working going into someone's home and helping them at that point, or a car wreck on the side of the road where you have limited resources in order to help them and get them transported. There's nothing right or wrong about either of those. It's just that you may have a propensity to be more helpful or feel that you're more comfortable in one of those settings. And so those clinicals help students to realize, yes, this is the path I want to take. This is a profession I want to be in. Or it may also be that catalyst for saying, okay, I realize that's not my strength, nor is that part of it my passion. I want to be over here. I want to be doing this. So those clinicals are a learning situation, not just for knowing what's going on in those avenues, but also helping you decide if you see yourself there. So.
For sure. I think that's such a critical piece of the training, and that's what I love about career tech is we give people that relevant hands-on training that really prepares them for when they go into the field. So I love that that's a part of our health programs as well. What are some of the trends that you're seeing regarding workforce in the healthcare industry?
That's an interesting question post-COVID because pre-COVID, not everybody, but people wanted to be in health. I want to help people. I want to be there. During COVID, we lost a lot of individuals in the profession, right? That was a very traumatic time for those that worked in healthcare because you were so limited on some of the things that you could do and the ways that you could help. Such a nasty, pandemic. And so we did lose some veteran people during that time because they just couldn't take it anymore. So now in healthcare, a trend is we have a lot of availability for individuals to come in those entry-level positions, right? Because anytime you lose a senior level, retire out, whatever the case may be, and people move up, then you have that entry level that now is needing some attention. And so a lot of the training that we do is that entry level. And so that's now open for individuals. We're also seeing a lot of people that are thinking that they want to work from home. But you can't really do that in the healthcare profession if you're doing direct patient care. Now, if you're in home health, absolutely, you can. But if you're in that direct patient care in a hospital, in a clinic, that type of thing, that's not really a work from home, situation. So, but technology takes the healthcare profession on a ride every single day. Every advancement in technology eventually comes into that healthcare setting, whether it might be in equipment that's utilized or software that's now available to help speed up the process of diagnostic, work, whatever the case may be. So as fast as technology moves along, then there is a progression in the healthcare setting that does that as well. So it's always moving, it's always needed, and it's always available for those individuals that are interested in it.
Okay, very good. What are some of, would you say, are like the hot careers, or maybe even like most popular? I'm not sure if that's the right terminology.
And that's a good question as well. Nursing is one of those things that you always hear. We're short of nurses. We need more nurses in the profession. And nursing is one of those positions that blankets all aspects of healthcare, whether you're in a clinic setting, whether you're in a hospital, if you are nurses are employed by insurance companies. Nurses are employed by large corporations, manufacturing facilities that might need a nurse on staff, kind of because they have a clinic on staff, on site. So it is one of those that you hear a lot about. We need more nurses. We're short on those in a practical nursing or registered nurse, BSN. There are different levels, but you hear that a lot. And yes, absolutely, that is a need consistently. The challenge with nursing is that in order to increase the nurses in the field, you need to increase the enrollment in programs, but you can't increase the enrollment in programs if you don't increase the staff or have the clinical settings that are available for those students to go do clinicals. I mean, it's a domino effect, right? Yeah. But nursing is one of those that you hear all the time, that nurses are needed. You'll always see advertisements for nurses because once they are in staff, then they'll go so many different directions, and they become recruiters for hospitals. They become liaisons for different programs within a hospital or a clinic or that kind of thing. So I would say nursing is the hot one always.
Awesome. I've seen that too. And I think it's interesting when you think about nursing in general, because I have a really good friend she's a nurse, but her career has been really diverse as that nurse, but she was in, ER, and then she was like a cardiac nurse, and now she's kind of in a less stressful situation, like a day-to-day clinical site, but it's all been in that nursing frame, but have very different experiences and specialties. And I think that's really interesting.
It is. And those clinical sites, those educational partners that we have, they become our instructors as well. Like Stillwater Medical Center is one that, we utilize heavily. Thankfully, they are very, very open to any student experience. But then we hire some of their employees to be instructors in our adjunct capacity. When we talk about emergency medical technician, Stillwater Fire Department, LifeNet, Guthrie Fire Department, Perry Fire Department. I mean, all of those entities that hire are so eager to also help with that learning experience. And so we couldn't do it without our educational partners. We're elbow to elbow with them all the time. And one thing that we have to tell students is, please understand, when you go do a clinical, you don't realize it, but you're being interviewed. because they need to hire and they're watching. And so you have the benefit of the clinical experience, but they have the benefit of watching you when you don't think you're being watched, and you're being interviewed whether you realize it or not. But a lot of times then they go in and they pluck those students from us right after they complete and get their certifications, then they're employed. And so that's another benefit of having those, those clinical partners. We're training for their workforce. And so they're very, very involved in making sure that they're accessible for those students. And we appreciate that so much.
Sure. And I love, like, as somebody, who goes to the doctor regularly and has my blood drawn, I appreciate knowing that those individuals who come through our programs are trained by people who have actively worked in the field, not just somebody who has read the book and is now teaching it, but people who have actually done the work.
That is so true. And you say that, and I've been here long enough. There are a lot of times I'll go in and, oh, hi, Miss Hines. Do you remember me? And I'm like, oh yeah, we trained you. Go right ahead. What do you need to do?
Perfect. Yes.
I love that.
I trust you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very good. So if someone is watching this and maybe they are not currently working or they need a change in their career and they're interested in healthcare, what would be the first step for them?
First step is just reach out and talk to us. Let us show you what is available. Let's have those conversations about why healthcare is appealing to you and what aspects of it are appealing. And maybe through that conversation, we can help you determine a first step. And we have a lot of availability of first steps. And so we're happy to have that conversation. Don't ever think that you can't afford it, or that you're not smart enough, or that you can't accomplish it, because it's those incremental steps that get you where you want to go. And so let's have the conversation. Call us, come by and see us, and we're happy to sit down and visit with you and help you explore.
Good. And if you are interested, I've popped a QR code up right there. It's always hard to figure out where to point. Right in this top corner. You can scan that QR code and it will take you to the healthcare training page on Meridian's website. I think Rena's contact information is at the bottom of that page. And I know she and the others who are in her department are lovely people who would love to help you get started. So before we sign off, Rena, is there anything else that you would like to add that maybe we didn't cover?
And I think I've said it already, but just don't decide that you can't do before you reach out and explore. Because even if it doesn't happen to be healthcare, you might come and visit with us, and there might be something else that piques your interest, and that we can help you on that pathway as well. So regardless of where you are, what you're doing, and where you think you want to be, just don't feel like you can't reach out and ask the questions and take the steps, because we're here for you.
That's right. I think we say it in the intro video, and I said it in the event for this, but Meridian can really help take you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. So Rena, thank you so much for joining me today, for being my guest. Usually I say join us next month, but we're going to take July off since it's so close to the holiday. And once I get my August guest figured out, I will post that on the Meridian page as well. So again, Rena, thank you so much for being with me today. Those of you who are here watching, or you're watching the replay, thank you for being here. I hope you reach out to Rena if you have interest in healthcare programs at Meridian, and I hope you guys have a great summer. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
Take care.
See
you. Oopsies. Hang on.